coming. All right. So Web3. Sorry for that. I'm trying to do some. All right. So Web3. So Web3. So what can you do on the web? So in the past we had Web 1, Web 2, and now we are Web 3. Now we need to understand that Web 3 didn't just come out of nowhere. There has been an evolution from previous web version. Just like we have the generation of computer today, where we have the first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation. Currently, we are in fifth generation. So also the internet has evolved over time. From the first version of the internet, we move on to the second version, and currently we are on the second version, transiting to the third version of the internet. And the first version is Web 1. Now, for Web 1, in the past, you could just only read whatever the internet displays. You can only read information from the internet. It's only some selected group of people that have access to create content on the internet. Those were people, the founding members of the internet. They're the only ones who had access to post or create content on the internet. While every other person were just users who just go to the internet to view and read information. You can only read and view, you could not contribute. Then the evolution improved further into Web 2. Now with Web 2, you could read and write. So now we now add content creators, we now have the likes of companies who could leverage on that to create a platform where people can have a share of the internet. They could express themselves, they could communicate with their family and friends. Then we had the likes of Google, YouTube, Facebook, Amazon, etc. All this platform allows one to be able to read and write on the internet. So you could not just read, but you could write as well. That means you could create a content, post a piece of or your own information on the internet. But this is done on their platform. This is done on their platform. So you could only do that on Facebook, on Google, on Instagram. But you owning and creating your own content is much more difficult. So with the help of Facebook and the like, we're able to do that easily. Then currently we are transiting into Web 3, where we can read, write, and own digital assets on the internet with the help of blockchain technology. That's where the blockchain comes into play here, because we could not just read and write, but we can now own digital assets as a form of incentive for you reading or writing or owning a piece of internet. So that's where Web 3 comes to play. So let's proceed further. What we have. So now let's go back in time. We need to take some little background on Web 3. Now background on Web 3. Now we have Web 1, Web 1.0 and Web 2.0, which refers to the era in history of the World Wide Web as it evolved through various technologies formats. Now Web 1.0 refers refers roughly to the period from 1991 to 2004. So between the period of 1991 to 2004, we had Web 1.0 spanned for a period of this 5 years. So Web 1.1 spanned between the period of 1991 to 2004, where most websites were static web pages. When you talk of static web pages, that means it's just displayed on your screen, just like you see this slide displaying on your screen. There is no movement, it's not dynamic, there's nothing moving, it's just fixed on your screen. Once you can only scroll up or down. And the vast majority of users were consumers, not producers. Yeah. So we had a lot of consumers, users who could just only go to the internet and just read information. They could not produce their own information. Whatever knowledge they have, they could not share it on the internet. So they were only consuming information. They could not produce content. They could not produce content or replicate content. So, but with Web 2.0 is based around the idea of web as a platform now, and it's centered on user created content uploaded to social media and network marketing services, blogs, wikis, and other among other services. So we had a lot of services where on Web 2.0 now with now you should know that technology is now the way technology work is there is always an improvement on the previous technology. That's why you see various phones today, you see various improvements that have been done on various gadgets or various devices. Why? They noticed some flaws in the previous one and they worked on it in a newer version and they roll it out. Also with the internet, at first we were only consuming, we could not contribute, and so that's a problem we need to fix. So with the advent of Web 2.0, users were able to create content, we were able to upload content. There were some websites that we are able to communicate to people on it. So you could easily create content on this website and publish it there, and other people can have access to it and also contribute to whatever information we've actually generated or produced on that website. So some websites were offering that as a service. That's why we have the advent of so many social media today, where we have the like of Facebook, we have the like of Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and the like. So these were these are Web 2 on or based on Web 2 because they are platform where you can share ideas, you could communicate, have a say, and people could respond and also share their thoughts on whatever you say. Now, Web 2.0 is generally considered to have begun around 2004 and continues to the current day. Now, from there, we move into Web3, which we are trying to transit to currently. Gradually, we are moving into Web3, but even for the fact that we are still on Web2 majorly, but with time, we'll fully move into Web3. So Web3 is distinct from Tim Berners-Lee, who is the father of internet. He's the one who founded the World Wide Web, the WWW. He's the father of World Wide Web. In 1999, a concept for a semantic web. In 2006, Berners-Lee described the semantic as a component of Web 3.0, which is derived from the Web 3 in crypto concept. Now, the founder of internet, Berners-Lee, had a different definition for Web 3.0, but with the advent of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, we're able to um, like change or add additional functionality to what it meant. So it was like an upgrade of what it meant initially, which was a semantic web component where you could now his intention was that whatever information on the internet it could be easily related or translated into another form. Like let's say for example you write I love you on the internet, that is I then love LOVE then you. You could write that same I love you in another language and the internet will recognize it. So you could use like a symbol or a sign to write it, and the internet will recognize it as I love you. So that was his own intention of Web3. But with the advent of crypto and the blockchain technology, that was improved upon, and now Web3 now layering on a blockchain. So the term Web3 was coined by the Polkadot founder and Ethereum co-founder Gavin Wood. Now Gavin Wood is a Polkadot founder. He founded Polkadot ecosystem. Polkadot is a cryptocurrency. It's also permissionless, just like we have the likes of Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. Now he's also Gavin Wood is also co-founder of Ethereum. Now Vitalik Buterin is the founder of Ethereum. Was co-founded by Gavin Wood, and now Gavin Wood own Polkadot. So this word Web3 was coined by him in 2014, referring to a decentralized online ecosystem system based on blockchain. And in 2021, the idea of Web3 gained popularity. Particular interest spiked towards the end of 2021, largely due to interest from cryptocurrency investors and investments from high-profile technologies and companies. So, with the help of Gavin Wood after he coined the word Web3 and the interest from crypto investors like you and I, investment from high-profile technologies and companies, Web3 became a thing that we all know today and something to learn from or something to adopt. So proceeding further, what is Web3? Now, this Web3 we are talking about, what does it actually mean? What does it mean? What does it have to offer us? Web3, also known as Web 3.0. So it might hear Web 3.0, it might hear Web3, they still mean the same thing. And sometimes tied as Web3 is an idea for a new iteration of the World Wide Web based on blockchain technology. Now, previously the Web 1, Web 2, they are not based on the blockchain technology, they are based on the internet. But with the advent of Web3, now that information that is stored on the internet is now being moved onto the blockchain technology. If you want to have a website today now, you need to get a domain name. Now that domain name is hosted on a domain server. Now that service is not owned by you. You have to purchase it from someone who has a cloud storage, who has a facility to host or share your website to as many network as possible. But with the advent of the blockchain technology, all those traces you don't need to pass through them. All you just have to do is what? Have a wallet address hosted on the blockchain and your website can be on that wallet address because the website is now linked to a wallet address that is on a blockchain. So you can see how easy it is for us to interact um, with Web3 using the blockchain technology. Now, which incorporates concepts including decentralization, just like we know the types of blockchain technology has to do with decentralization, and also not just that, and token-based economy. Now, with the advent of Web3, users or content creators get incentivized for everything they do on the blockchain technology. So there's a token, there's a reward system that rewards you for either creating the content or using the platform. That's why I see so many people wanting to use the Web3 today. So you've noticed so many high profile developers and software engineers are now even diverting all their attention and resources into the Web3 because they know this is a space where they can actually thrive, and also people will want to come into the space because of the beauty and benefit of it. Now, some technologies and journalists have it with Web2, constructed it with Web2, wherein the see data and content are centralized in a small group of companies, sometimes referred to as big tech. That's why I see the likes of Amazon, see the like of Apple, the like of Facebook diving into Web3, and with the advent of the metaverse and the likes, they are coining everything together to benefit them because they know now the world is tilting towards Web3. The world is now moving towards Web3 and they don't want to be left behind. That's why I see them imbibing all of this technology, embracing them, and looking for better ways to implement them on their platform. So, evolution of Web3. And let's see how Web3 has evolved over time. Let's see how it has evolved over time. I hope you are still with me. So now we have the Web 1.0, just like we said, says the green shot of e-commerce, desktop browser access, and dedicated infrastructure. We have the Web 2, we have the Web 3.0. So now from 1990 down to 2025, this is like a projection of um how the value created will be. So formally we have site like this, like the Netscape, those are Web 1 on. Then we move on to Web 2 where we have Facebook, Airbnb, we have Uber, we had Google, we had YouTube and the likes. And now we are in Web 3 era where we have the Bitcoin. we have the blockchain, the Ethereum, we have the Maker, we have the Ocean, we have various kinds of Web3 Web3 applications now. And this is like a projection to show you how the internet has evolved over time, the World Wide Web, how it has evolved over time. For Web2, we have the social network, where we have the mobile first, always on cloud driven computing. Now, why for Web3 now, it's no longer be on a cloud driven computing, now be on a decentralized architecture, data architecture, which is the blockchain. And Web3 is now AI driven. AI driven. Let's see the next one, which is comparison between Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. And when you go to the functionality um, key that we have, it was a read only version, that's for Web 1. For Web 2, it allows you to read and write, while Web 3 allows you not just to read and write, but also to protect your privacy. Your privacy is now um, is managed and controlled by you and you alone. Unlike Web2 on Facebook, that Mark Zuckerberg can easily edit your could easily edit your information or block you or do whatever with your account because he owns Facebook. So your privacy is not 100%. But with the advent of Web3, your privacy is owned by you and you alone. So you can decide who you want to share your privacy with and who to keep it from. Now we have target base. Now for Web 1 it was built for companies. Now Web 2 was built for communities. Now why Web 3 is built for individuals like you and I. And you know when something is built for individuals, then there is like a massive adoption and growth rates. Now we have for apps. For Web 1 it involved it's was in a digital format, digital form, while Web 2 was a digital application. But for Web 3, we have smart application with the help of smart contracts because now this web application is now hosted on the blockchain, also a blockchain that is smart contract enabled. So the application is a smart application automatically. So for Web 1 for marketing, we have banner marketing. For Web 2, we have user interaction marketing. But for Web 3, we'll be having user behavioral marketing. So you can see these are kind of a difference between each of this web evolution. Now for base, we have home pages. For Web 2, we have social media. But for Web 3, the base is technology, blockchain technology. So now we have benefits of Web3. What are those benefits we enjoy using Web3 that Web 1 and Web 2 cannot give to us? What are those benefits? Now, number one benefit is privacy. You have full control of your privacy. You can control what goes in and what goes out. Now we have security due to the fact that the blockchain is actually secure. Then we are ensure of security on the blockchain using Web3. We have interoperability. That means we can easily migrate from one web to another easily without having issues. You can move from one web to another. Each information they are related together. You can easily fetch information from one website to another using the blockchain and smart contracts. And we have ownership of information or data. So now you own the information, you own the data, and you can also get incentivized for owning such information and data on the blockchain. Ownership, no one can claim ownership because you have like a digital certificate on the internet, on the blockchain, sorry, that shows the history and the whole information of the owner. So ownership of information is allowed or is is assured on the blockchain of Web3. Someone saying something. So Labi, you want to say something?
No, no, no. I'm not saying anything. No.
All right. So ownership is assured on the blockchain, like we said, and access to information. You have access to information. You are not restricted because you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google, you can go on Facebook, and you can be restricted from having some access to some kind of information. But for the Web3, we have access to unlimited information. And this will also come with some kind of side effect that we should be aware of, because anybody can post anything now on the internet, either be it censored or uncensored. Anybody can do whatever they like, because this gives room for decentralization, for freedom to do whatever you want. We know Web 2.0 is kind of censored. There are some things you can't post on Google or YouTube or on Facebook. There are some content you can actually promote or talk about. But with the advent of Web3, you can actually talk about them. There's nobody controlling whatever information is not regulated. So she also know, as just as the blockchain is not regulated, so also Web3 is not yet regulated. So those characteristics and benefit that comes along with the blockchain, also the Web3 is also taking part of those benefits. So you are aware of that. And also access to information. We said that elimination of a central point of control, which has to do with decentralization. There's no government controlling whatever information that is going in or coming out. So the citizen now have access to information borderlessly. So now you have the permissionless blockchain, just like we've known before. You don't have to request your permission before you do something. Like if you want to post on some Facebook group or want to join some Facebook group, you will ask for permission. You until the admin of such group gives you permission before you can have access to it. So with the blockchain, we have a permissionless blockchain, and we have uninterrupted service, because the blockchain is hosted on is a network of various computers. So you are assured that service cannot be interrupted. Service cannot be interrupted, just like we have with the event that happened with Facebook the other day, where their platform was down for some hours. You could not use Facebook, you could not use WhatsApp, you could not use Instagram. So all application that was linked to Facebook could not be used. They had the server breakdown. So something like that cannot happen with the blockchain. Something like that cannot happen with the blockchain. So these are kind of the benefits we enjoy with Web3. So moving on, the founder of A16Z, which is a Web3 startup and a school for Web3. If you want to learn about Web3 and blockchain technology, you can go to this school. You can search for him on Google. Chris Dixon. He says Web3 is the internet owned by builders and users, orchestrated with tokens. So Web3 is an internet, is the internet owned by builders and users. Now it's owned by builders and users. Who are those builders? Who are those users? Individual like you and I. We are the builders, we are the users. And it's now orchestrated with tokens. So for each piece of content you own on Web3, you could tokenize it to incentivize your users or people coming to make use of your platform or read your content or produce content. So they can be incentivized using a token based model, token based economy model, just like we said earlier when we were defining Web3. So he said this on his Twitter page. This is like a screenshot of his Twitter of his tweet. So he said this on the 16th of on 26th of September 2021. That was last year. So as at this time this screenshot was taken, he had this retweets and likes. So Web3 is the internet owned by builders and users. We know Web1 was only owned by um the people who were controlling the internet, as at then you could only read. But Web2 was now a social platform where you could communicate, you could share your information, but you're not building it. We are just users. But now with the advent of Web3, we now have builders and users. Everybody can build and use at the same time. So nobody is limited to um whatsoever. Everybody is now boss on their own on Web3. You can be the next Mark Zuckerberg with the use of Web3. So now with what is decentralized application? For short, we call it the apps. What is decentralized application? What is decentralized application? For short, it's called the apps. Now, the apps are Web3 applications that are not hosted on a centralized server, but hosted on a network of computers connected to the blockchain. So if you want to have access to Web3 as at now, you need a decentralized application, an application that is not um, connected to your Web2, an application that is actually totally different or separate from Web2. So you call that a decentralized application. So with this application, they are not hosted on a server, just like we have like of Facebook, Google, YouTube, and the likes that are hosted on a server, a cloud server. But for Web3 is not hosted on a server or a centralized server, it's hosted on a network of computer connected to the blockchain. Now, it makes use of open source coding and all data is fully transparent full while granting full anonymity, sorry. While granting full anonymity, that means you have full authority over the information you are sharing. Is fully transparent. Everyone can view the information, and it's also an open source code. That means someone can actually copy your code and recreate it into something more beautiful at its own end. So now the apps do not require a complex verification and login system when handling sensitive data. It can be used without giving out your name. Most verifications are done using a wallet. So you can see with the advent of the satellite application, we can have interaction with Web3. Why? Because with satellite application, it's easier for you to connect to a Web3 site, as we may call it, a Web3 platform. It's easier for us to connect because one, this application is decentralized, it's not hosted on a central server like we have the Facebook, the Google, and the like that are hosted on a centralized server because those servers are privately owned. But with the use of the right application which is hosted on a blockchain, we know it's not on a decentralized platform or a decentralized network of computers. So it makes it easier for us to have full transparency and anonymity. Now, decentralized application doesn't require complex verification and login system. You don't have to have an email address to sign up or log in all the time. All you just need is have a wallet address that is connected to the blockchain and you are good to go. So next on our list, we have examples of Web3 decentralized application. Now for browsers, we under Web2 we have your Google Chrome, while for browsers under Web3 we have the Brave browser. Many of us use that today. Now storage we have the Dropbox, we have the Google Drive. While for storage we have Storage J and we have IPFS. Now for video calls and audio calls we have the likes of Skype, we have the likes of Google Meet we are using currently, we have the likes of Zoom, Meet, and the likes. But for Web3 decentralized application, we have Experty, which is a video and audio platform where you could have meetings like this. For operating system, we have the Android operating system, we have the iOS. But for Web3, we have the EOS, we have the Essential.1. So we have a lot of them. Social network, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. But for Web3, we have Steemit, we have Asha. For messaging, we have WeChat, WhatsApp. These are Web2 applications. But for Web3, we have status. Now, remote job, we have Upwork, we have Fiverr, we have Fiverr, Upwork, and the likes. But for Web3, we have Eatlands, we have Anytax, so many of them. So these are applications or web services that are now on the Web3. So we can see that we are already transitioning from Web2 into Web3 already. So it's just a matter of time. And when the full transition take place, we never can tell. It can take years before this transition take place fully. According to some projections, take up to like 2025 before we fully engage into the Web3 economy. So, but before then, what are you going to do about it? That's the question you should ask yourself. What am I going to do about this Web3? How am I going to position myself in order for me to benefit and also have a share of the internet? Do you want to be the next Mark Zuckerberg? Do you want to be the next Jack Dorsey? These are things you should ask yourself and begin to work towards, begin to make findings, begin to dig further on how you can embrace the technology and use it to your own advantage. And in summary, we have in Web3, a wallet is a universal access key. So all you need to have for Web3 is just a wallet. Once you have the wallet, you're good to go. Web3 and cryptocurrency work together. We need to know that in Web3, cryptocurrency is used as a base currency for your transaction or incentivization in Web3, because you say it's a token based economy. So you need something to reward your users or the producer of content, so which is the cryptocurrency. That's where cryptocurrency comes into play in Web3. Now, cryptocurrency provides a financial incentive for anyone who wants to participate in developing and interacting in the Web3 world. Yeah, so these are just summary of all what you've been saying all along. So guess this is what we'll draw the curtain for tonight. So, any questions so far? Guess we're able to um, use of our time today. So the class was a very short one. Sorry for that breaking transmission. I had a poor network connection. So, do you have any question? Please, let me hear from you. You can unmute yourself. You are not much, so let's unmute ourselves and hear ourselves voices. Let's hear from each other. Any question?
No, not at all. The class was is brief and concise and very clear class, and all
You said
the
I can't really hear you, Mr.
the
Olabi. Can you speak?
yeah, I said the class is very sunset and brief. I like it, and it is very clear. Everything about the Web3 is very clear. The narration and then the examples given, they are very relatable. So I think we are good to go for me.
All right, thank you very much. So let's hear from Emmanuel Ademiwa and Adigba John. Unmute yourself and say something before we call it a day.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
The class is very, very precise and very wonderful, very impacting. I love it.
All right,
But
thank
but there is something I don't know, just a suggestion. Some of these classes we still need to revisit them over and over again.
Yeah,
Especially that your last class, that NFT class and all the rest. Because if we don't have what to fall back to, and start making us familiar with those things and all the rest, we might not actually get it well. Because in the real sense, it is the practical that is really making sense. That we show we really know and understand what you have been teaching us.
yeah.
So I don't know how that would be possible. Maybe for some of us that have been a regular attendant of the class, so that we can have a compilation of all those classes, so that we can go over them over and over again. So it becomes part of us and we become very perfect as regards it.
All right. Yeah, that has been noted, and I've been compiling and recording each class. So I'm going to be releasing it. With this we are in this 26th of February. Let's see, ending of this month or early March, it will be released out. So I'll release all the information for every one of us to have access to it. Yeah, I also noticed that we need to like go over this information and practice and the like. So go over it, practice. That was what's going to help us better. So I've compiled them already. So I'm still compiling some. So when it's ready, I will send it to every one of us to have access to it. Yeah, thank you for that contribution. So anything from Emmanuel, anything from you before we call it today? All right, I guess nothing from him. So what do we have here? Okay, so still talking about my guide I'll be releasing. So all the information you requested for will be in this guide. So for those of us that be regular in the class, we having it at a very discounted rates. Then for others, it will be at a very high price for them. And okay, that's all for today. So thank
Alright,
you all. Want to see
sir,
something? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
eating. I cannot talk now. I know
Okay.
ask question.
Okay. So you can. Do you want to ask a question now?
No, no, I understand perfectly.
All right. Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
But
Thank you for that feedback. So,
eh,
all right. So, thank you all for coming to today's class. So, this class is that be recorded and to be in this guide I'm launching out soon. So that's why I said ending of this month, unfailingly first week in March, it should be out. First week in March, it should be out, and information on how to get it and have access to it will be distributed on the group. So thank you for joining once again. I really appreciate your time and efforts. Good night and have a lovely Sunday. So meet tomorrow. We'll talk about trading points. We've already talked about trading NFT, but we can just revisit it again. So we'll revisit it again tomorrow. And also we'll go deeply into trading of coins and the like. So thank you, Mr. John. Good night and have a wonderful rest.